we expect, really. Alright, guys, so we've got ourselves our StarCraft resuming here. Reynor taking on Ryung. As we kick this off, Ryung is in the bottom left-hand side. First time he's played from GP since week 1. Kind of ridiculous that he's been in hiding, because he's considered to be one of the stronger players of GP. So, for him to have not been here is kind of... It hasn't even really hurt GP, as much as we might usually expect, because GP are doing pretty well. And then there's 1 week they bring him out again. Well, it's over before he even gets to play. And he has to play against Reynor, which obviously isn't easy or pretty. And yeah, just kind of crazy that that kind of comes around like that. As we get into game number 1, then, Decisive. Pretty fun map for some Terra versus Zerg. Reynor just going to go pool first and protect his potential chances of being proxied here. Obviously, this is a scenario as well where maybe you could get aggressive too. They are fighting for a bit of map score, of course. That is kind of what's on the line right now. Is going into this match, I mean, like I say, now that Kaiser get the win, they go 2 points ahead of GP and 4 points ahead of Liquid. It's very tough for Kaiser to fall behind. Especially because Kaiser play Invictus next week, I believe. So Kaiser are really primed now to make playoffs. It's really going to become the GP versus Liquid battle to determine which of those two teams ends up in 7th place. And especially because GP don't even get a point today, Liquid will just sit 2 points behind them. GP play DPG next week while Liquid play against SSLT. And the week after, GP play against Good Game Gaming, which is not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. And Liquid play Slicestorm. That all happens on one day, which is kind of crazy as well, honestly. Lings show up, and the Reapers across the map, Ryung did not know, so going to be a little bit of delay here. The initial 6 Lings will be successful as the Reaper starts to head home. You'll have to pull SCVs with these 2 Marines. You obviously can't let the command center die. And the Lings get any SCVs, 1 already, and just the 1 for the moment, but obviously an SCV pull as well. And we save some of the Lings. We'll split them up so the Reaper has a tougher time, basically chasing them all down. Lord is going to move up towards the high ground for a little bit. Hiding away there. Reaper goes hitting the hatch. The hatchery taking some shots and just going to be pulling back down the center. Couple more Lings coming around. Link speed still coming up, and the starport building on the side of Ryung. As we get the command center building on the front as well. So that command center coming through. A couple Lings get there. The Reaper getting chased away. Push back down to the low ground for the moment. And yeah, obviously, nice start from Reynor with a few Lings, and this has turned into a pretty normal game. I kind of thought we might see some aggression here, especially, match maybe not being super important right now. Series already decided. Viking, Hellion, and another orbital all continuing up here. The tech lab coming through as well, so we still continue to bring as much of this along as possible as a couple of Hellions get turned around, chased away. Viking grabs the Overlord, and it's going to be a nice little denial right there. Actually, you know what? If GP lose all of their games today, right, that's actually really bad for GP map score-wise as well, in case they enter some kind of trade-off with Team Liquid for map score. Because Liquid are likely to pick up maps next week, GP likely to lose maps, and then if it comes down to the final week, yeah, it's just going to become rough, guys. Just looking kind of just at GP's position, because I was pretty hopeful for them coming into today, and obviously today's kind of flopped a little bit as we Hellion drop into the main. What can Ryung do? Doesn't even get a drone yet. It saves the Hellions, at least will unload them, but the Lings are right back on top, and now the Hellions are starting to die, and this is unfortunately going a little bit tits up already. Just got our medevac and sit in the corner and maybe look for a chance to come back. But the Hellions are hurt, so even a couple queens will likely find a cleanup on that before we really get going. Especially as you're going to be unloading somewhere you can typically already see and so on. Medevac not finding a way in just yet. We're even going to relocate the spores to help deny the medevac from making a reappearance. Around the top, a couple more drones is going to come popping out. These will fire up, and the first few lings start to go down, so some damage being dealt. And it's going to be seeing a medevac really chased away to the top, so hey, at least you get the medevac and the Hellions out alive. You can use them again later, right? It's not like they're completely useless at this point, so that's nice, if nothing else. The Marines and medevac's just going to press forward a little bit and try to see what they can do. As Stim is done, you imagine these medevacs will be on the map shortly and definitely looking to start dealing some damage. Getting some creep spread denied, if absolutely nothing else. There's definitely some work to be done. Medevac, a few Hellions come stepping out of the front. The Viking will go and kill off this Overlord in a moment as our Hellions looking to try and grab the Hellions. Unsuccessful there as the Hellions just lift up and back away immediately. And the Marines coming through, getting rid of a couple of creep teamers. We pull back along the left-hand side and we'll scan for a little bit more creep once again. And Marines doing a very good job of this as we escape over the far left side. A couple medevacs coming across to heal with that. And the Viking on the top side will come through the top, back down into the center. We're just going to be seeing our medevac still doing some healing. Bringing things back up to good HP. This is one of those games where you've got to be a bit worried for Ryung. The early game's not gone well for him. His follow-up harassment didn't do a lot. Reynor just has a lot of control, and Reynor in control of his ZvT is terrifying because you just know he can come out absolutely swinging. And he has potential to do so much damage from this point on. Our Marines stimming forward initially, getting rid of a lot of the creep is nice, but you've got to control this creep. If you're not doing this as Ryung, you're already in a losing position, so a lot of work to be done here. Reynor absolutely, like I say, in the driver's seat for the moment, and Ryung definitely the one that's trying to find a little bit of a way out, trying to figure out a way out of this troubling situation, because it is exactly that. It is troubling, it is difficult. It's going to be rough to try and get out of here as our Banes run forward. Our Marines have to lift up into the medevacs, escaping away. Get a bit more creep on the upper left-hand side. Marines loading straight into those medevacs. The Ling Bane coming by immediately and just going to be having the rest of these units unloading in the center. Ryung quick to deny a couple of those Lings. We've got burrowed Banelings attempting to run over if you're going to go chasing units to the northern side. So good little play from Reynor there as Ryung. There's a ton of Marines, guys. It's going to be this one big push. That's right, Reynor's stuck on purely Ling Bane. He's starting to get the hive, but again, he's not going to tech out of just Ling Bane because he just wants to win this game on a massive units and on good trades. And here we go, Ling Bane already coming around the left side. Is he going to flank or is he going to run by? He's going to flank, he's going to come in from the left, but he decides that's not a great idea. Doesn't have enough of a jump on this army, so he backs it up. Army on the right, a few Marines are just running forward there. The first Baneling actually gets to connect even. Something to watch out for is Ryung, like I say, is just going to carve out a path on this creep spread, push himself across the map, and see what he can do. As R2 upgrades continue along for Reynor, just trickling through. The 12 Banelings on the way from Reynor as well. We're just going to grab ourselves an Overlord immediately. And that hive is not far from finishing. A few Marines moving up here. The Banelings get through for a few more Marines, a bit more damage being dealt. And the other few Banelings are able to connect in and do pretty decently for themselves. Getting some connections, getting some damage done. Down the south we had as these few Queens will take some shots. Marines will be splitting up. The Banelings will be taking damage. There we go with the Ling Bane coming from the other side. Marines all over the shop right now. Where are they going to go? It's around. Can the Banelings get everything? Yes, they can. Marines not really finding a way out. A few survive, but obviously a lot of the tanks died here as well. Hey, Reynor, you've got to spend that money though, right? I mean, he's got 2K in the bank. If he doesn't spend the cash, he's in a bit of trouble. He can deny reinforcements. That helps a lot, but he's got to evacuate a base here. Hey, Ryung is going to get on top of this base. Does Ryung have enough? I actually think Ryung might have saved enough Marines. A couple of the tanks survived that I kind of thought were already gone, if I'm going to be completely obvious with you, honest with you guys. Oh my goodness, this base going down. Reynor with money to spend, but you just can't spend it. Ultra Cavern on the way. His Baneling Nest is rebuilding. As we come chasing forward here, this single tank will get shut down. Here we come from Reynor. Important fight for him. He needs to find some value right here, right now, as he pushes on through. The Banes get a little bit done, but Ryung has so many Marines left over, and Reynor is not able to break through on that right-hand side, and Ryung is making this happen off the 3 bases, off of a really, honestly, not so great start here on Data C. The Marines continue to push on forward. Just going to be seeing them continue to fight here. The Queen goes down. The Hatchery will be taking damage. The Lings back through the center of the map as these few Lings surround, and Marines will go down. Hatchery denied on the top, and just going to be seeing the Marines here standing to fight once again as our 3-3 upgrades continue through, plus 3 Chitinous Plating on the way, a couple Ultras setting up, and the command center dropping back onto the 4th location for Ryung. Wow. I mean, honestly, Ryung is, I mean, impressive game, no? Considering he was in a lot of trouble. I'm genuinely a little bit surprised, honestly. A little bit shocked. I mean, Reynor felt like he had the setup. Maybe he didn't need to tech up toward the Ultras and stuff. I mean, they're starting to come out now. In theory, he had the money to do that, and it was fine. I mean, I think the biggest issue is he just didn't have the lava ready to rebuild. And those Banelings, when they were surrounding that Marine force, somehow a clump of Marines got out alive as well. Defense not going to break for Ryung as, oh, even better, he's going to catch these Banes. Scans for the Burrow as well. Not going to catch Ryung off guard there, Reynor, unfortunately. So good defense from Ryung. Very good defense. Puts him in a very good field. Keeps him in a very good position here. On the right-hand side, this Hatchery immediately in some trouble. Marines will get rid of that. Taking it down straight away. It's an extractor that gets picked off as well, and just going to be seeing a couple spores up in the main base, deflecting potential drops in. Reynor is getting towards maxing out, which is kind of what he wants, right? If he can just stay alive to get max, then there's always going to be a little bit of hope. Take a very good fight. I mean, the Ultras and the Vipers are tech which Ryung is not really set up brilliantly to deal with. As this drop is obviously really good. The Ling is not going to fight well here at all against these Marines. Eventually lift off. Meanwhile, we've already got this fight over here. The few Lings out on top of it will be denied immediately. It's another Hatchery down for Reynor, who is definitely playing from, well, a pretty troubling position, guys. I mean, just cannot say it any nicer than that. This is not where Reynor wants to be right now, as Ryung is in the driver's seat and more at the moment. GP, like I say, preserving a little bit of their map score. You know, this is why it's so sad, I suppose, as well, that GP just couldn't quite get the Nightmare win early. Because there was definitely potential for them to win today. Those first 2 matches just not going their way at all. Is obviously a bit rough as Ultras are out. Well, Ghost's already on the way from Ryung, though, right? His transition has come through. While this was a 3 base 8 racks initially, he's transitioned well. He's got a 4th. He's building moving a 5th in position. He's got extra bases. He's building Ghosts against these Ultras. As there's burrowed Banelings here. No, Reynor, you should have chased him a bit more. Okay, we're now with the Ultras, and we just lift up. Oh my god, Ryung, the correct move in a dangerous position. How about that? And Marines will unload to the upper left-hand side and just get set up over there. More Lings popping out. Lings, Ultras continue to come through for the moment, and just going to be seeing how a few Lings will head all the way down to the 6 o'clock. This base becoming a planetary. Going to do too well for a moment here. I mean, getting 5th base up is obviously huge from Ryung, and Reynor just struggling to get his 4th back online and his 5th, which he's building at the same time. That's the situation Reynor was in. He's behind, he's in trouble, and he needs to find his way out of this. I mean, the supplies, so the supplies are evening out, guys, but you can't get too deceived by the supplies because, again, Ryung's army is amazing with the ghosts, etc. And Reynor's army is very much so Lingbane Ultra, which is nice. But usually with Lingbane Ultra, you should be up on bases, you should be ahead on economy, you know, you should be in control of the game. And that's not the case at all here, as I see these Banelings unburrow, and Reynor not going to do too well, I don't think. I think these ghosts against the Lings will do very well, in fact. Loading up the majority of what we can. We do drop a parasitic bomb, but the medevacs are healthy enough to escape. And we stim up this right-hand side. Yeah, as the Lingbane Ultra player, you need to be the aggressor. You need to be the one taking down bases, taking down economy, keeping the Terran army supply lower and running around, because that's where you find good trades. You don't find good trades against a maxed out Terran who's picking all the fights that he wants to take. And that's why I think we still should be worried for Reynor. Supply for Ryung drops here a little bit. And I mean, he's teching up into so many good units. Tanks and libs and ghosts on production. He's trading out Marines to just improve his army tenfold, quite frankly. That's obviously pretty terrifying again if you're kind of Reynor, well, a Reynor fan right now, as he's trying to fight his way back into this. Again, his 3-3 upgrades on the way, looking to match the Terran player who's been there a while. It's another benefit, which especially the Ultras will benefit from that, but of course doesn't really help you against the Ghosts and the Snipes. A little on the watchtower, top left-hand side, and again, just trying to control the map as Ryung. I mean, Reynor's trying to get all of his bases back online. I think it's important Ryung doesn't let these go up easily, and he will not. He positions to deny this base while also expanding up here as well, so he's doing the double whammy, right? He's expanding while denying expansions. Things, Ultras down the right-hand side, looking to run into this watchtower here as our medevacs will load up the Marines, taking those away, and just going to be seeing a couple of Marauders wanting to go after that hatchery, not quite able to. The Ling's able to deny that. Liberator's sieged up on mass. Big attack in from Reynor, looking for this base. I think the planetary will... Okay, I was going to say the planetary will hold. I didn't think the Ultras were all going to dive toward it, and the Bane's getting there too, means it will go down. But it's definitely going to hold against just the Lings. Obviously, Reynor uses a lot of supply to bust down a base that's going to be immediately replaced. And I believe Ryung is on his way to intercept these Ultras. No! I think if he'd kept moving, he could have had a bunch of Ultra kills from Snipes. I think he could have done a lot there, as we see Ryung just going to immediately counterattack and deny a base that's on the way up, though, right? And he's going to see some Snipes on Queens. Few of them take obviously a couple Snipes to kill a Queen. They just have enough HP to survive one Snipe. So, just a pointer that if you call Ghosts imbalanced, clearly you think Queens are imbalanced as well. And survive the imbalanced Snipe. 200 IQ. I love where Ryung is at, guys. I see a lot of people in chat thinking Ryung has kind of been indecisive, he's lost his lead. I don't think that's true at all. I think his army is unkillable for Reynor. I mean, Reynor's getting some Corruptors up, and he's maybe going to get one shot at Broodlords. But I think in general, Ryung's army is actually just something that Reynor cannot fight at all. Reynor's still struggling on bases. Don't get me wrong, Ryung's economy is not incredible at 49 SCVs, but Reynor's is not incredible at 64 workers either. So... yeah, and it's not to say Reynor can't still turn this around further, but I think right now, I firmly believe Ryung's still in control of this game right now. I think he's really just set up nicely. I mean, these few Marauders are going to get rid of a hatch, which is expensive at this stage of the game. The Corruptors, obviously, I thought about Brewers, but maybe even just getting rid of the Liberators is an essential kind of move right now. We've got no Banelings here, so Reynor's army's just going to melt. And we've got tank after tank, and Reynor's going to tap out GG. And, yeah. I think it's easy to say Ryung kind of gave up a bit of his advantage. I actually think he played into his advantage and said, hey, I can get freely set up to an army that's unkillable with what you should be able to... Oh, I can't affect the colors. It's nothing to do on my side, unfortunately. It's the link feed settings. If I try to do something on my side, it would just look weird and just as bad. It would just look bad, you know? It's not something I can fix. Reynor in the upper left, Ryung in the lower right. As we get set up for game number 2. on the natural. CC on the natural. Command center first from Ryung. Cosmic Sapphire, obviously Reynor's map pick for map number 2 here after losing the first. Be coming on, Refinery coming up, a few Lings on the way, and obviously Reynor just opening that pool first again. Pool first against CC first is not so hot because the Lings get there later than the CC, later than the CC is still building. That's a horrible way of phrasing it. The Lings get there after the CC finishes building, so you can't deny the low ground SCV. So a lot of what you would usually try and do with the pool first is kind of lost on a CC first. The pool first is typically good if you can maybe grab the Marine initially. It's typically good if you can perhaps, go into like a blind Roach follow-up and you're just going Roaches anyways and it's just going to hit super hard. Then the CC first struggles, especially CC first into a second rack. It's going to be a lot of Marines, not a lot of factory tech units to help defend. Lings get in, and we do have the CC just retreating from the low ground, but like I say, you don't delay the command center. You get an SCV pull out of it, so don't get me wrong, you don't get nothing out of this as Reynor, but typically it's obviously looking for more when you go pool first like this. It is a bit of a commitment, so do not find it as not ideal. This Lings actually won this Marine. Ryung, a little greedy, went into his add-ons after. Oh wow, traps the Lings. That's actually a cute bit of micro. Trapping the Lings in the mineral line. The Marines survived the one Ling that got through, so then the rest were freebies. That was a cute bit of micro. 4 Lings, nothing lost but mining time. A lot of lost mining time, in fairness. It could have been less, but like I say, he's been a bit greedy. He went Reactor Tech Lab straight after one Marine, so he never got a second Marine. A second Marine would have shut this down so much more quickly. But now he's going to benefit from the greed and the timing of this. He'll have his Tech Lab and his Reactor online, and he can go into this 2-1-1 setup, factory on the way, followed by a starport into Medivacs and the Marine drop, and we can go from there. So yeah, cool micro from Ryung, and let's see what the next step will be here on Cosmic Sapphire. This is another map I actually think Ryung might just 8 racks on. You got some good pushing lanes on this map. It's not a great map to play a late game on against Zerg. There's tons of bases. They can get control over gold. Just another A-Rax, another strong timing, right? Just put all your eggs in that one basket. I actually don't hate it, even though he just did in the last game too. So maybe like the 2-on-1, maybe get a bit of an advantage, and then you just kind of go from there in general. I could see it. Could be cool. of the time, the gold base is their natural in Gold League. Still, gold base natural is good, Heroes shown us that recently. Combat shield already starting. This first push is going to be fun. First Marines and Medivac is going to be powerful. What's going to be even more powerful is when the next Medivac joins as well. A third Medivac joining this with another round of Marines. Marines going to have to be very careful to not get overrun by that timing, so something he'll have to be pretty cautious about. Queens go after the rocks, the Lings will set up. Just going to be seeing the bunker getting salvaged already. Queen's gonna nibble on the rocks, and the Evo Chamber number 2 coming down with the Baneling Nest as Ryung gets on the map for the first time with these Medivacs. He's moved through, a couple of creep teamers going down, and just gonna be seeing the Medivacs pulling back. So just a bit of creep right now. Like I say, I'm intrigued to see what an extra Medivac would do if you wanted to really push in, but I don't know if we have another one coming through. Marines got the hatchery on the top side, and we do have our extra racks on the way in. So racks are building up. Numbers rise and Ryung's pressure building. Obviously, again, trying to just keep control of some of the creep, give access to some of these bases a little bit more easily. Got rid of just a little bit more creep again, and just, again, denying this top side. We do have a little counterattack from Reynor setting up bottom right. A group of Lings ready for jumping on this base if the opportunity arises. Things coming across, and Marines are going to stim to the tower. And Marine's going to get surrounded by these Zerglings. Things will get pushed away. A bit more Marine medevac coming across to fight. Some more Freelings again, so Ryung on a good push up this right-hand side, getting rid of some of the creep, getting rid of some of these queens even perhaps. They stick around. Ryung currently only 5 workers behind, and these 5 workers behind, his army supply leads a little bit as well. Widowmine goes off, couple Widowmine striking a few Marines. So be careful of the friendly fire, but yeah, Ryung, good eco position. Very good army position. His army supply is great. Just being so frustrating right now as he continues to rally forward, mines and Marines. But there's a little mine drop in the back that's not really found a new way in, but it's a constant threat that's keeping some of Reynor's supply back as well. So Reynor's got to keep Lings nearby to deal with that potential drop. So we've been, again, eyes on that pretty much throughout as... And on the right side, Ryung pushes through. He is now starting a 4th base, so he has got a plan beyond this initial attack here. 4th base coming online, and here's the Widowmine drop finally getting through. Widowmine's getting a very good shot, so 5 workers, so actually a great start. We got Marines on the left, need to be careful. Oh, good Widowmine reaches for those Banelings. Sometimes I feel like Widowmines are like, hey, we've got the hidden upgrade where we actually just reach like twice as far as usual. And that was a pretty nice little connection for sure. Reaching across and striking very well. Have one more Widowmine shot going off. Couple drones going down. We're still fine over here. Widowmine's hit the Queen, which means there's no Widowmines for the Ling Bane. We have to go lifting up and escaping away. And just going to be seen with the rest of this army at home for Ryung. Honestly, look at the supplies, guys. 108 to 64 army. Reynor has money to spend. He's waiting on, I guess, the Hydra Den to finish before he starts to spend some further cash here. So Ryung's next force at the front is going to be sizable, and then there's a hugely threatening drop on the side of the main base that Reynor's going to have to be very wary of. The good news is eventually these Hydras are going to be very good against the mines if it ever gets to that stage, and worried that Reynor maybe dies before then. Get one more Baneling, the fueling's still running through. We're going to lift up, Widowmines. Ooh, friendly fire the medevacs. Unlucky for Reynor, there wasn't one more. You could have blown up medevacs with Marines inside very easily then. As you do drop in the main, he's actually going to get a drop off, and the Lings will not deny it, so the Marines will be good enough here, denying a gas already, and a little drop over here. Ryung not paying enough attention. The Banelings defend, so some of the pressure alleviated. But the drop on the main base still going, and Reynor again having to respond to it. It's an expensive drop for him, taking a lot of losses. And at the same time, we're pushing up the right-hand side. We've got another drop on the left. Ryung really is kind of all over the place right now. Reynor desperately needs these Hydras to start solidifying his army and just giving him the chance to actually stand up and fight in some of these places more easily. Having a tough time at the moment. Yep, just stimming up over here. Reynor's army is pretty much drawn thin, right? I mean, it's obviously not too sizable. What's the Widowmine gonna do? Widowmine? Oh my god, literally waited an eternity to fire onto the chunk of Lings, and Reynor takes a big sigh after that. The Marines all did go down, but the Widowmine at least. Delivering the drop from the main back now into the natural, forcing the relocation of units, and just getting rid of a lot of Lings. A single Baneling connects. The Hydra's talking down, medevacs up and right. At least Ryung pushed back over here. He should just be moments away from seeing Ryung with another army. What happened there? I don't know. Ryung was on the retreat and ended up re-engaging or so, losing out big time. Reynor keeping himself alive as more Banelings are morphed in and ready to go. Hydras in production, Lings coming through. These medevacs come to the front, and the Queen will hit the medevac immediately. Bane's finish up. They do a decent job. Ryung having to back it up a little bit. Needs some Widow Mines to maybe help him out. That's a decent one. A lot of this army in the bottom left now without splash damage to support, and Ryung being chased a little. Has obviously kept this to a 4-base versus 4-base game. The 5th about to come online from Reynor, who's just been slowly dragging himself out of trouble here. I mean, all game long he's been behind on supply and struggling, but just little by little doing the right things, getting the Hydras online. They're much more, difficult army to fight against now. Ryung's still playing the Widow Mines, mind you. Obviously, if the Hive comes online, Reynor will be able to play into Lurkers as well, and that would be problematic as well. These Widow Mines going to do. One of them reached across. We didn't really see the connection. I think Ryung had already lifted, so it did hit a few lings. Maybe seeing our Marines escaping back out the left side with the Medivacs. Ryung maxed out, and like I say, about to get on his drilling claws upgrade, so his mines will be a little better. Still just playing this split army on 2 sides of the map here on Cosmic Sapphire. Sim straight in, looking for this 5th base. Reynor was on an attack to the bottom right. I think he was looking for the right side base of Ryung that just wasn't there, or he wanted to go deeper. Now he's going to lose his 5th base yet again, and once more his economy is going to be in trouble, and this could be a drop that moves into the main. He's going to just escape to the top side. He doesn't go anywhere too committed with it just yet. As he attacks in over here, he doesn't have the Widow Mines here to really help him with the Banelings. Like I say, he's moving towards the main with these Medivacs. Ryung is going to be found by Reynor immediately. He saw it coming with an Overlord, so Ryung is not going to be sneaky at all with this. Comes back over here, going to start denying the 5th base yet again, and he's going to be seeing these couple of Banes starting to work their way through. Ryung just has to lift up and be careful. A ton of units in the bottom left are retreating away as well. Ryung might have to kind of give up on some of this pressure. The thing is, Reynor is obviously held back, 4 bases only. He's defending so much against these drops that he's got no pressure on the map as well. Stepping through, a lot of creep will go down. The units making it over to the watchtower, and again, a couple more creep teamers being picked off here as Widow Mines stay burrowed up. Widow Mines are going to go pretty well initially. First 2 shots were good on a lot of lings. Reynor instantly just going into the rebuild with those, and well, this drop making his reappearance took a little while. Finally shows up, but units are nearby from Reynor. But again, he's just not able to take any presence on the map at all, because every time he does, Ryung is there. And now Ryung making his way to Ghosts. Reynor getting into a lot of his kind of, tier 3 upgrades as well, plus 3 carapace, the adrenal glands. His lings just running into a chunk of bio. Some of the units split off to the side. We're not being shown that. This 5th base of Ryung likely to be denied here. With a lot of Banelings nearby. Ryung running off to the left. The Baneling finds a connection. Ryung, maybe a stim would have been good. Yes, EV's too late to repair this, so it will not be saved. Ryung finally turns around. If he'd stimmed a bit sooner, he could have saved more units there for sure. Just didn't quite find that in the moment that he needed. One Medivac up here with the Vipers. Just like, oh, hey guys. You guys don't have a Parasitic Bomb? How lucky for me. This Ryung supply still at 200. Reynor also coming up to 200. Finally making his way to the Lurker Den. And again, just, like I say, dragging himself out of trouble step by step in this game. First he survives, then he gets the Hydras, then he's going toward the Lurkers finally. All of this off of a lower base count, as I'm hoping the clean feed is about to readjust. And welcome back. So guys, welcome back to the game. As we are here, and like I say, everything was kind of evening up at this point in time. So with everything evening up, here we go, and immediately Reynor's going to try and dive at the bottom left. Reynor finally gets a 5th base, which is obviously a big win for him, finally getting this online. Ryung obviously would like to have a 5th. He had it denied previously. The planetary was on the way up, and now you've got this little bit of Bio Ghost starting to press up to the top side of the map as our Ling Bane Hydra getting set. Just going to be seeing the Lings and the Hydras from the left side coming through. And a hatchery from Reynor will build in the upper right corner as well. So it does feel like Ryung is finally losing control a little bit. And Reynor is like I said, this was kind of why it was the worst possible point for things to break down. Because it really felt like we were at the tipping point of this game being under kind of Ryung's control to maybe turning into Reynor's control. He starts to take the fight in over here. Ryung really just not able to break through Reynor despite the splitting action and, going on both sides. And all of that just was not able to quite do what he needed to. Now our Lings will run down the bottom left. A few Marines are here again. Rid of a lot of the Lings. The denial on the hatch on the CC will happen once again, though. So this command center will drop down. So the CC will fall. The Hydra's going to go and jump onto it, and our Marauder's going to go and pick off as much creep spread as possible, so clearing out what we can over on the right-hand side. As Lingbane Hydra will pull up the left and just going to be seeing medevacs, a couple of tanks, all of these moving forward as well. As we, like I say, at this point, I mean, this is a fun position to play with, but Reynor's really taking over the top right, and it feels like Ryung's going to need to put some, put some kind of attention there. Holding his tower is cute and all, but Reynor's about to come in from 3 different sides. Left, right, top. Yeah, Ryung has a lot of units on the other side. Maybe they can do something, but here we go. Reynor pushing through. The Ghost's not going to get a chance to do much here either, as the Banes just keep on coming. The tanks go down without firing a shot. The last few Banes will not have a great time, but the Ling Hydra might just continue through anyway. At the same time, we've got the Marines on the left-hand side of the map. The drones going down, the hatchery taking damage. That's the lone Marine up over here as Reynor cleans up the right side. He will lose a base, but with bases coming up in the top right, I don't think he will mind too much, especially if he can preserve the drones and get those to mine in the top right side a few moments from now. And I think Ryung, he slowed down, which was maybe the right call, but holding this position wasn't it. He gains nothing holding here. Hold here, defend your base, hold somewhere, but not here, where your opponent can run into you multiple sides. And what are you gaining by being here? Like keeping the creep back? Like threatening the push forward? And maybe that was cool initially, but obviously kind of goes sour very quickly, as we saw. 21 kills on the Widowmine as Reynor maxed out. Adaptive talent on the way. The Lurkers are going to be a factor now as well. They are in the game, and like I say, it was a step-by-step claw back into this game from Reynor. One moment at a time, he just kept it going. He's not had good creep spread all game. He's, just had to slowly carve his way back into this, and like I say, we now might just about be on the right track as we get set on this right side watchtower, and we're going to get ready to launch ourselves into the bottom right here shortly. Lurkers, Lings, Banes, Vipers. Let's see what we can do as the first blind cloud's coming down onto the siege tanks here. The Lings are coming through, the Lurkers are burrowing up, the Banes want to crash on forward, and they're going to be crashing straight into the siege tanks. Monday Fortress will go down, the SCVs will be in some trouble. 4, 6 workers, 7 workers going down. Big attack in from Reynor, and he is finding some serious damages. Oh my god, workers were transferring between the bases, and they still are getting killed. 31 workers killed. Reynor Decisive suddenly is, well, it's 2 medevacs and a Marine over here. That's not going to do much. And Ryung, well, there's just so many lurkers for him to fight against. He's down on 32 SCVs. No money in the bank, really, to rebuild from at this point. He doesn't quite have the gas he needs. And yeah, it just looks as though Reynor just completely turned this game around over these last few moments. Extra Banes will get set and just going to get moved in over here. Just going to see the Liberator sieging up and the Lurkers backing away. So Lurkers just going to take a step back. The rest of our Bioforce is going to sit out in the front as well and just going to be having... Yeah, Ryung's lead in this game is absolutely gone now, as we see our Lingbane from the top. Good EMP on the Vipers after the first... well, it's actually a second blind cloud anyways. Obviously, the Lingbane here runs forward, allowing the Lurkers to then get in range of everything else, and that's really the scary part of this, as Ryung's supply drops below 100, 130 to 90 at the moment here for Reynor, and he's going to keep moving forward with these few Lurkers to try and get in range of this tank. Maybe that was a bit overzealous, as he has got his own reinforcements back at home setting up. A few more Banes, a couple new Lurkers. I mean, Reynor has money in the bank to spend, but Ryung just doesn't. He is not recovering from all of those SCV losses on the previous fight. A lone single Ghost remains. They got reset previously before the Lurkers showed up, and then there just wasn't enough of them, and this is just going to be... I mean, he never had like a huge Ghost count in this game either, but he never really... the point where he needed the Ghost, he never really had any. Once the Lurker count got very high, the Ghost count was just never really there at all. As our Viper's going to go consuming the hatchery, getting some energy, or health off of it, and then turn it into energy on the Vipers. As Reynor, 168 to 113. I mean, when he feels comfortable to attack again, it could be one that ends the game. Ryung's supply still good, so you've got to be cautious and proper about your attack, but it's definitely not going to be an easy situation as we move on forward. Lingbane Lurker and down to the bottom right-hand side. Split up and ready to fight here as the Vipers pray for some parasitic bombs again. Minimize what the tanks can do. Is there any hope for Ryung? It feels like no. I mean, the defense position basically broken down by the parasitic bombs, and Lings aplenty as there's no defense for the siege tank, so they are just dying easily here. And very easy. I think Reynor in the end, obviously not in the overall game, but in this fight specifically, pretty easy for Reynor. He takes game 2, and it is a 5-1 victory for Kaisi Gaming in the end. But he was losing this game for a while, as Reynor just continues to go 1-1. And why is my hotkey not working?